2021, four men got together to make a radio show that nobody asked for. This is the result.
Welcome to Broad Street Radio. I'm Michael Morris with my buddy, John E. Cash, Jonathan Meenach. Johnny, how are you?
If I were doing any better, I'd be taxed.
Well, we're going to talk about that.
People not right now, right?
Not right now. We're going to get in.
We got some good stuff.
We got a good thing to talk about today. So we try not to get too political on this show, but when things are funny, we're going to discuss it.
When they're funny, they're funny.
So last night, there were a few different election outcomes that happened, right?
Yeah, they were different.
There was some miscalculations, I believe, by the news media. And first of all, I want to get your take because I think it's safe to say both of us are, would we say we're more like libertarians? Or
yeah, I mean, we're fence riders.
Definitely. Oh, yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Like I want to take a little bit from there and a little bit from here and kind of meet me in the middle. What was your take on what happened in the Virginia race?
The Democrats lost.
Yeah, they did.
I mean, I don't know how they did, but they did. I've been thinking about it this morning, trying to figure out like, okay, what really happened? I haven't a clue, man. I don't know. I don't know if it's people are tired of hearing the same old rhetoric over and over and over again. I don't know if it was the fact that how do you say his name? The Democratic governor?
McAuliffe?
McAuliffe, is that it?
It's either McAuliffe or Macaulay. You know what I call him today? An employed.
He's heading to the Citgo.
Yeah. Well, he'll be working at some K Street firm where he's going to be advising other people.
I'm sure on how to lose elections.
I'd love to see that commercial. Hey, if you want to make sure that you lose badly, call me. I know the strategy.
Yeah. It's a strategy. And, a strategy is better than no strategy.
I feel like there's only two, the winning and the losing side. There's no middle ground.
Yeah, definitely not.
But he did bring out the heavy hitters. I mean, he brought out Barry. That guy doesn't make many appearances other than Netflix and David Letterman specials.
Sell some books.
Yeah, he comes in. I got to get one of those books. When they say that he writes those books, I'm like, yeah, I know he's got the time to do it.
I'm waiting for him to come out with his own personalized Bible, like Rod Parsley.
Oh, I thought you meant like what's the book that Tom Cruise's religion is based on? L. Ron Hubbard.
Yeah.
Like if you follow this Xenu, if you get to level 7, you can be like
pay enough money.
You can be on the Supreme Court.
Yeah, if you pay.
I just
kind of
thought,
true.
What's funny is when you look at it, it's kind of like all the let's call them the popular kids in high school, and it's like I'm going to run for office, and here's everybody I'm cool with. I don't understand why you got to bring that many people there to rally for support. Either you're going to make it or you're not on your own name, right?
Well, I'm not a political strategist, although I know one. We could get one in here sometime.
We should get that idiot in here.
That would be good. I'll talk to him about
that. That guy probably makes a ton of money, doesn't he?
He does okay.
What's he got in his 401k? That's all I care about.
I don't know. I don't know what I was.
I'll ask him when he comes.
Yeah. But the funny thing is like you would think that getting along on your own merit, your own ideas, your own agenda would be enough, unless your agenda sucks. And
here I want to get into that agenda because I watched, as I always tell you, I don't like the Braves win the World Series. That's cool. I want to know what happened on the other side. I want to see the losing locker room, and I want to figure that out, right?
Yeah.
So I was watching NBC, and I remember a time when the news media wasn't out with their bias. Like, it would be shaded that way, but NBC last night literally was Democratic headquarters. And Chuck Todd, and I don't understand that guy's hair. If you're losing your hair in the middle, why do you have the sprouts in the front? Like, he has a very West Virginia coal miner, I drive a truck with 3 wheels haircut, and I'm supposed to take him seriously, right? The guy's a high school graduate, by the way.
Or it looks like a South Side house that just hasn't had landscaping for a while.
I mean, that's the kind of guy that you buy really bad weed from, and that guy is on Meet the Press and everything else. But he looked exhausted as the totals were coming in. And so they talked about CRT being an issue in the schools, mask mandates, all this other stuff. And it was almost like they told you all the things that people don't want. And then they said, I don't understand why they lost when they ran on that platform.
Well, I don't know. I would like to believe that the Democratic Party is having a little bit of introspection today, but I'm not optimistic about that. I mean, I don't know.
But how do you change? Like say midstream, you think that this is the way we're going to go. Because when everybody runs on these campaigns and we're going to run as a group, I don't care if you're Republican or Democrat. If you're an independent, it's fantastic because you're only going to get 4% of the vote. So you could literally be like free weed for everybody. But when you have two sides, you have to run on a platform and it goes throughout that platform. If you decide the wrong strategy, and what are we? We're 11 months in, not even a full 11 months.
Right.
And it's wrong. And you find out the voters don't want it. You can't flip and go, I was just kidding. I was just joking. I didn't mean any of that.
Psych.
Yeah. 2022, we got a whole new thing.
Yeah, it's going to be one hell of a pivot if they make it. I mean, I don't know.
But that's the thing is, I think once you go so far down that rabbit hole, you can't get back out. It's like painting a pig and saying, no, it's a horse. Like, it's not going to work out. People are going to be like, weren't you just saying this the other day?
You know what it is? It's I've got a really good analogy. It's like it's like the scene from one of the greatest football movies ever, where Gene Hackman talks about ducks on a pond, right? And they're freaking out underneath right now, but they're trying to stay calm on top. You get into quicksand and buddy, they're in some quicksand right now. I think they're figuring out like, okay, not all the American people believe in being told what to do, right? And I get it. I have conversations with people all the time about the greater good and all this other stuff about protecting your neighbor and all that other kind of thing with vaccines and masks and all that kind of stuff. And my position, and I've asked this to several people, why, take last year out of context because last year we didn't know anything about the virus, right? Scary new thing. We gotta do everything we can to prevent it from being an issue. But the toothpaste is out of the tube and you're not putting it back. Why are we acting like this virus is killing everybody that gets it? Because it doesn't. It kills about 0.5% of the people that get it, or maybe 1%. I don't know what the exact number is, but it's not so far more egregious than the flu would be. And we've never acted like this when the flu come around. I mean, the swine flu was horrific for kids. It killed a lot of kids, way more kids than this virus has ever considered killing. And, I don't understand the outrage over, I mean, people were like literally fighting each other in the streets if one person's masked and another's not.
Gotta love it.
Well, it makes for great TV.
I love free violence. Like when I'm just walking around and people are beating the absolute shit out of each other. I'm like, I don't even care what it's about. Just don't stop it. When the virus first came, though, I got to say, everybody was afraid. Not me. I was rooting for the virus. Okay. I'm the guy who wants the lion to get the gladiator.
Right. Yeah.
Okay?
Thanos definitely snapped his fingers.
I was so happy because I saw World War Z and I go, that's what I want. I want to live on a ship and I'm tired because I am not a people person. Like people think, oh, I like being around people. No, I don't. I'm secretly plotting your demise the entire time I'm talking. Like I only like 5 people and one of them is a child. Not in that way. It's my own child. But if a girl's 19, still, I'm kidding. She has to be like really hot. But when I see what's going on here and we're acting like this virus is going to take us all down, we all know someone that's had it, right?
Yeah. And the other thing is that, I mean, a lot of us know people that have died from it and it's horrific and it's terrible. And I don't wish that on anybody. At the same time, I'll be interested to see the statistics and the excessive deaths that have happened. Cause like they measure data all the way back to whatever to see how many people die on average per year for whatever cause. Could be heart disease, diabetes, cancer, whatever it is, car accidents. I want to see how much more excess deaths there is versus what we normally would have. That'll be interesting.
But you won't really be able to see that because when you look at, I think to call it a pandemic, okay, that's fine. I think it was a big global scare. That's my own opinion. But I think when you're counting cases of people who had it, like for example, Marvin Hagler he was taking the first round of vaccines and they scrubbed it from the internet that he had complications from
the vaccine.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I always like screenshot that stuff because I'm like, this is going to come up later.
To.
But there was a time when you couldn't even openly talk about it. If you said anything, not negative, but if you even had your own opinion about it, it was like, you're wrong and you're a monster. And again, as you've seen, when people are like, "Oh, how could you?" I'm rooting for the virus to get you. So just understand, I don't care about your health at all.
I'm not on your side.
Yeah, and especially when it's strangers, they're like, "You know how many people died in Oklahoma? Who cares? I don't care. Get them all. It doesn't bother me." And I think that people are looking at like that's so inhumane. It's inhumane to give kids mandatory vaccinations
100%.
as well.
I 100% agree with that. But you want to know a really good so if all we did was solve type 2 diabetes in this country, do you know how many deaths we would eliminate?
Did you see that?
Yeah, you sent it to me. I
Oh,
think.
yeah.
But the crazy thing is I was just thinking, like, where have I seen this before? Where have we tried to fix a problem that's not fixable? Because this virus isn't going away.
No.
And people still believe that if everybody wears a mask and if everybody gets vaccinated, it's going to go to zero. Hey, guess what? It's not.
No.
It's here. And I said this in March of last year when we first heard about it. I don't know if you remember or not. I said, this thing is here forever.
Oh, I know.
Get used to it. It's going to be cold, flu, and coronavirus season for the rest of our lives. But here's where we've seen this before. And coincidentally, it was Democrats trying to solve this problem by outlawing, monsters or supersized drinks. You remember the taxes that Bloomberg tried to pass?
He wanted to make like a big gulp, like $19.
Yes.
So you can have it, but you're going to pay through your ass for it.
Yeah. Do you remember that? I mean, they were literally trying to solve.
Well, do you remember that
obesity
Saturday Night Live mocked him because when he
Yes.
was running, they would have Fred Armisen would have this huge cup with a straw because that guy, first of all, how does a guy with that much money have no personality? You should be able to buy it and download it. That guy got 1% of the total electoral votes in his own party, which was more than Kamala Harris. But if you go,
Interestingly, yes.
well, doesn't matter. She's vice president because she deserved it. So if you go back to when Obama ran and he won the first time, Michelle Obama, do you remember what her big cause
was
celebrate?
that the school lunch?
School lunches.
Yeah.
And so school lunches are kind of out of their purview, and they were going to make them healthier because by the year 2032, I believe they're saying 50% of kids will have the early onset of diabetes because everything that we eat and drink is full of sugar.
Yeah, it's garbage.
I think the American diet has 11 times more sugar than any other country. And that's why, the average girl that I'm seeing on the streets and I'm like, hey, let's go out for dinner. If you're under 200 spins, we'll go, but I'm not paying for your food. But as soon as the FDA, who contributes to all campaigns, right, because they want to be on the winning side.
Yeah, you got to be on the right side of history, man.
They said, we're not going to support your run the next time if you do that. So they changed to 60 minutes of play a day. So the NFL adopted that at the same time.
I do remember that.
1 hour. Well, most schools were having cutbacks. What did they cut?
They cut gym.
They cut gym.
Yeah.
So you're still eating the same crap.
The best freaking class you ever had. You remember the parachute and the popcorn balls and the stuff.
I remember
stuff you used to do?
dodgeball.
Yeah, dodgeball.
I got to go back home. I think I have my win-loss record in dodgeball.
Dude,
I was winning like a 70% clip.
I had Mr. Howley had to talk to me in 5th grade. Like, hey, dude, you need to settle down. You're hurting people.
Well, he's just teaching.
Smashed a girl in the face. Krista, I'm very sorry. It's been a long time, but
that girl's still in the ICU.
Yeah, maybe.
Listen, you're raising a bunch of cowards. If you're not winging that rubber ball at some kid's head as hard as you can, you're not going to be anything in life.
I mean, how do you know you're alive? You get smashed in the face.
I'm just going to say this: the guy that was the best at gym volleyball, gym dodgeball, that guy grew up and he sold crack rock cocaine. But you know what? We still talk about him. We celebrate him today. Okay, not for the crack rock thing, though we should, because he became an entrepreneur.
That's right.
Now that I think about it,
he learned a skill.
Do you know how dangerous it is to have a business? You don't even have your own health insurance. I'm just saying, I should have you talk to him. He's going to get out in about 5 years.
I should reach out to all the street vendors, if you know what I mean.
I do know.
How are they investing? Where are they putting their money?
I don't know, but after this, let's go find one of them because I bet they had some good stuff. So your take on when you're looking at this? So we're in 2021 now. You're looking at 2022. It depends on what you're watching. Like I don't watch any corporate media,
right?
Because again, it is so.
They all have an agenda. I mean,
but it's like.
It's not even hidden. Like they're just trying to sell you on something. I mean, it's all about money.
It is because did you see the thing where Pfizer? There's a 4-minute segment of every show that is brought to you by Pfizer.
Yeah.
Oh, this show is brought to you by Sonic. Go to Sonic if you want to ruin your life. But it's brought to you by.
Are you still bitter about the?
I'm not going to let it go. I've decided. I told Nate the other day. I'm going to make sure that Sonic feels this pain, and all 13 of the listeners of this show are going to know. If you go to Sonic, I disown you.
Yeah, I mean, I still like their what the hell are they even called? I mean, it's been so long since
you can get off this goddamn show if you're going to say something positive.
But you know, they put Pop Rocks in that shit. The slushies, you know, you can get like nerds and stuff in them.
Come to my house. I'll put Pop Rocks in anything you want. Stop going there. You're getting off topic as you always do.
It's my fault.
So the strategy for 2022, we're still actually we haven't heard much from Dr. Fanucci lately since he was having bugs eat dog faces, and that's a true thing. Look that up. But
yeah, it's pretty disturbing.
You know, he was saying, you know, we might be able to have Christmas this year.
We might.
And yet 100,000 people every Saturday are going to college football games. Nothing.
It's mind blowing to me that the hypocrisy is just, I don't know how people don't see it. Like, how do you not look at this? I mean, I saw something on Facebook, like a meme going around where they're like, yeah, it's got him like, well, we might be able to have Christmas. And then it shows the Bills stadium packed with, you know, just fans that are ripped. You know, they've been smashing each other through tables. What?
First of all, I would love to go to that.
I would love to go to a tailgate.
I love when they set the table on fire and someone jumps off like a Ford Ranger, and it's like, oh my God, why are you doing that? Because this is 3 hours before kickoff.
It's like the cage match back in like, what was it, 99 or something, where they set the cage on fire.
It's more like Hell in a Cell.
WWF fan.
Oh my God.
Not that WWE bullshit.
If
WWF.
we could get Mick Foley on this show, that would be the ultimate. Or even John Moxley, just for Nate. But when I'm looking at next year, I feel like it's when your parents are like, hey, don't go to this party and drink. Don't do this. Don't do this. And after a while, you become numb to it. And I think we're 18, 19 months into this, and people are just done with it.
Yeah, and we're over.
I do find it odd that the other countries who had stricter lockdowns than us decided we're just going to live with it, and they opened back up.
Well, I think they had that realization that maybe they heard me say last March, this thing isn't going away.
Maybe they heard me every day going, eat them up, get them all. Like Pokemon. Don't leave anybody behind. By
the way, that is the fastest way to herd immunity. It's for everybody to get the damn disease.
I thought you meant Pokemon. I'm like, how does that make sense?
Pokemon doesn't make sense. So you're asking about strategy for 2022. I don't know. Like, I really don't know. What do you do? How do you pivot?
Well, my question is also in what you do for a living, right? You're a financial advisor. What's weird about it is the stock market isn't plunging.
No, they don't care. I've preached this for 7 years now. What happens in politics is not directly tied to the economy and the stock market.
So if more Americans are making money on their retirement funds, but they don't have money, again, I always argue with you about inflation. Not argue, but my point is it's still, you always say inflation doesn't matter.
No. I never said inflation doesn't matter.
Are you saying that I misquoted you when I quoted you?
100%.
Okay, good. So straighten me out on what you said.
So inflation does matter. What I've always said, though, is from 2009 till now, inflation has been very, very low. And we don't really know why, because the Federal Reserve has been pumping billions upon billions of dollars into the economic system, rightfully so, because it's all about liquidity. I mean, the ability for banks to loan money matters more than anything else. Because if they can't loan money,
say that again in case somebody missed it. Like there could be somebody on a treadmill right now that's like getting off and said, "What did you say?"
Yeah. So if banks can't loan money, that freezes up the economy, and that's the problem. So that's what happened in 08 and 09 is that you had this subprime mortgage crisis, and then banks couldn't loan money because everybody was defaulting, so they didn't have the money to loan. And then when they didn't have the money to loan, businesses couldn't make payroll. They couldn't buy stuff. They couldn't sell stuff. I mean, it literally came to a screeching halt, kind of like what happened in March. I mean, our economy hit an iceberg.
But
right?
I think the difference was when it happened during the Obama era, they bailed out the banks and Wall Street.
Oh, yeah, they always would.
Now, they bailed out, again, during the Trump era, they also took care of companies.
Oh, yeah, they did.
But they offered something to the people. You know, I mean, if you even go back to Bush, remember when they were giving you, what was it, $300 or $600? And he was saying, just put it in the economy, go buy a TV and all that. And I thought, this isn't even enough money I couldn't live on this anyway. So I did buy a TV. And then I sat there broke for 6 months. But that's
it's the American dream, man.
You know what? I think about this. Is the American dream dead, or are we living the perfect example of it? And I say it this way. You have your freedoms, somewhat.
Sort of.
You're supposed to be allowed to say what you can say. As long as you don't say it on social media or out loud, you can say it in your head. That's fine.
Or disagree with whoever's in power.
But other than that, depending on the state, you do have we're in here in Columbus, Ohio. Some places you have to wear a mask. Some place they say it's recommended. I went to Walgreens the other day, and they said masks are optional. Right across the street, they wanted you to wear it.
Yep.
So guess who got my business? Both of them, because they didn't have the frozen pizza at the other one. So I had to go across the street. That's how I know. But
you got your Monster at one and your pizza at the other.
Yeah. First of all, as I stated last time we did the show, look at these little cans of Monster Energy drink. I'm trying to kill myself with one of these a day, and they don't have the ones I want because they're on some ship out there in the Pacific.
Yeah, well, maybe Bloomberg had something to do with that. He's like, you won't pay my tax? I'll keep your ship out in sea, and you can't get it anyways.
Would you live in New York City for any amount of money?
You couldn't pay me enough money to live in New York City.
I mean, just the craziness that's going on there.
I mean,
which one's crazier, New York or California? I think we hear, because we're in the Midwest, I think we hear more about New York than we do California.
Probably. I don't know. I
think California was crazy before.
Yeah.
Nate used to live out there.
Did you?
Yeah.
How crazy was it?
He went to film school, and this is what he's doing with his life. Sitting here with these two assholes filming this every week. Yeah.
He stepped up.
Like, there's Scorsese, and there's a little Nady Schooner. I think that when I look at the cost of living and what you get for your money and all that, I don't understand why you'd be on either coast. You really have to be wealthy, or you got to make it somehow. Like an actor, I could see in New York or California, I could see that you could make it.
Yeah.
But you couldn't make it. We couldn't make it doing what we're doing.
I mean, if we're depending on this show.
No, this show.
You're absolutely correct.
This show loses money.
This is a tax write-off.
Yeah. I mean, literally the government goes, why did you pay $300,000 to do a podcast? Because it was worth it for those 14 people.
That's right. No, I don't. I mean, yeah, I mean, I could probably make it. I wouldn't be very happy. Plus, I just don't want to be. It's just not my people. You know what I mean? Like, right. There's a thing that I think there's something to be said about.
You get in where you fit in. That kind of thing.
Yeah. Like nobody likes shotguns in New York or California.
No, they like handguns.
Yeah, they prefer.
But that's just on the street.
Yeah, right.
If you are by a bodega, you're going to see a handgun for sure, whether you want to or not.
Right. Yeah. I don't know, man. I wouldn't be caught anywhere on the coast. Not a chance.
I just don't see it. But then I see the appeal of a place like Austin, Texas.
But used to have appeal.
Used to have appeal.
Doesn't anymore.
But again, that's what I'm saying. It's kind of like we were talking to somebody this morning. And you're like, you were saying New York is kind of empty. Like people left it.
Yeah. Manhattan's half empty.
Yeah. Well, their election that they had, I think for the mayor, they had less than 80,000 votes. I mean, you think about how big just Manhattan is.
Holy smokes.
Well, the guy who came in second got 17,000. But when you look at it, you're like more people voted here for the Grove City mayor or school board than voted for the mayor of New York City.
That's insane.
Which explains why all those whack jobs are like when Bill de Blasio was the mayor and I looked into it, I'm like, that's not even his name. And then you see like, this dude is literally a hateful person, and he could. I thought when he was giving away New Jersey Nets tickets and Knicks tickets, if you would get the vaccine, I thought you keep that because I can watch it for free at home.
Yeah, I don't know, man. They just it kind of going back to strategy. I think they're just throwing spaghetti at a wall and seeing what sticks. That's the only explanation for why they lost the governorship of Virginia, why Virginia's state legislature flipped from 55 Democrats to 40. They lost 15 seats. I mean, I don't know how you look at that and be like, wow, well, good effort, boys and girls. Like, how do you look at that?
Last time that happened, that was the end of Obama's first term.
Yes.
And
that's
when
crazy.
Yeah, you look at that and you go, it is history repeating itself. but it's not the same circumstances.
Right. Well, I use a phrase when I'm talking to clients is that the past doesn't predict the future, but like Mark Twain said, it often rhymes. So I don't know, man. We're seeing some interesting stuff happening here. So 2022 will be fun, and we got a cowboy running for governor for Ohio. That'll be interesting.
Dak Prescott.
No, not that cowboy.
Oh, I was going to say I'd be super excited if we got a Dallas Cowboy here.
No. Old Joe Blystone.
Oh, yeah. We're going to get into that in 2022. But I want to end on the fact that you use poetry to end the show.
Yeah.
That's going to be it for Broad Street Radio. John Meenach, a thank you for being here again.
Hey, my pleasure.